Have you ever wondered why the United States of America has 13 stripes and 50 stars on its flag? Well, in today's video, we're going to find out all of the hidden meanings behind some of the most famous countries' flags in the world. Start things off with Japan. Japan is nicknamed the land of the rising sun, and for good reason, because this is a very hidden message inside of their flag. As we know, Japan's flag is white with a red circle in the middle, but it's deeper than that. The red circle in the middle is not just the sun, it's Amaterasu. I may have pronounced that wrong. And this means the sun goddess in the Shinto religion. Now moving on to the United Kingdom and the famous Union Jack. I mean, the obvious design. We've got red, we've got white, we've got blue. It looks like the English flag and the Scottish flag, but it goes deeper than that. It combines three flags together. The English St. George's Cross, Scotland St. Andrew's Cross, and Ireland St. Patrick's Cross, all into one, which makes the Union Jack. And I bet you're wondering, why is Wales not included? Well, because the Union Jack flag was made in 1606 and Wales was already annexed into England by this point, so they just weren't on the flag. Now moving on to China. China obviously has a red background with yellow stars, one big star and four smaller stars. But with my research, I found out that the four stars have a hidden meaning, and so does the main big star. The main big star is meant to represent the Communist Party, and then the four stars around it are meant to represent the social classes. This being the national bourgeoisie, the working class, the peasantry class, and the urban class. And all the four stars are pointing towards the large star, suggesting loyalty. And these stars actually form a constellation, which is quite cool. The Russian flag, a very boring flag, I must say, but they got most of their flags designed from the Netherlands. The tricolour was inspired by the Dutch flag from Tsar Peter the Great. This reflected Russia's push towards Western civilization in the 18th century. Now, the white on the flag represents nobility, then the blue represents loyalty, and the red represents love. Brazil, on the other hand, has the coolest flag design, I think, in the world, and their flag has some very deep hidden meanings. Each star in the flag represents a real star constellation on November the 15th, 1889. And this was the day that Brazil became a republic. So they have the star constellation on the day they became a republic on their flag. That is awesome! Germany, black, red, gold. The black stands for determination, the red stands for war, which you would not believe, war and bravery, and then the gold is for unity and freedom. Obviously, in recent times, Germany's flag's changed quite a bit because of World War II. I mean, obviously, it was a different flag beforehand, but we won't get into that. 2,000 likes and I'll make a video on countries' worst war flags. Get liking. The United States of America. 13 stripes, 50 stars, but why do they have them? The stripes represent the 13 original colonies, and the alternating red and white of these stripes represent valor and purity. And then the 50 stars on the United States of America's flag is for the 50 states. Mozambique's turn, and their flag is absolutely insane. They have an AK-47 with a bayonet on the flag. It's one of the craziest flags I've ever seen in my life. And it's the only national flag that features a modern assault rifle. And it's meant to represent defiance and vigilance. But having an AK-47 on your flag is actually a little bit crazy. That's what America should have. They should have one big assault rifle, because over there, they're crazy. Then the book underneath the gun on the Mozambique flag represents education, while the hoe represents agriculture. Then Bhutan has a dragon on their flag, and this dragon is called Druk. D-R-U-K. This represents the thunder dragon in their mythology. Moving on to Nepal, they're the only flag in the world that has triangle shapes on their country. And actually, they're the only country with a non-rectangular flag. The two triangle shapes represent the Himalayas and the two major religions, which are Hinduism and Buddhism. And the sun and crescent moon are there to represent how long they will last. They're going to outlive the sun and the moon. Belize is the only flag to represent humans. They have two male figures on their flag, one being a woodcutter and the other being a logger, and this represents the country's foundations in logging and woodcutting, which I think is actually really nice. Then the Vatican City have two crossed keys on their flag, one being gold and one being silver, and these represent the keys to get into heaven. South Africa's flag. The Y shape of the South African flag is meant to symbolise the coming together of everyone in South Africa, which hasn't really worked. But But the colours literally have no meaning. They have no meaning at all. South Korea, on the other hand, have the yin and yang on their flag, which I think is absolutely awesome. If you don't know what the yin and yang is, it's meant to be the perfect balance of opposites. Now moving on to Paraguay, their flag is actually double-sided. The front and back of the flag is completely different. The front shows the national emblem, whereas the back shows the seal of treasury. And a fun fact about Saudi Arabia, you cannot fly that flag at half-mast. It's illegal. You're not allowed to do it. Because lowering the flag is seen as blasphemous. It's like not allowed to happen. If you do it, you're in big trouble. Then in Eswatini, in their flag, they have shields and spears that they use. It was a traditional Nguni shield, and they've used it ever since. They had 2 spears and a staff, which I think was absolutely awesome, and now it's on the flag of Eswatini. That is such a cool addition. And last but not least, we have Malta. Malta have the St. George's Cross in the corner of their flag. And I bet you're wondering, why does Malta have this in the corner? Well, they were given it by the English because of their bravery in World War II. It's a military medal on their flag to honour those who were in World War II, pretty much honouring their entire population. That is such a cool addition. It's literally a badge of honour. But that's about it. There's some hidden meanings behind every single flag. So please make sure you like and subscribe. And one more thing. Bye.